What's up, guys? Welcome back to PKG. This is Evan. This is Mike. So today for this video, we're going to be talking about Pokemon that we just think should be a little bit better, deserve a little bit more love, and just they're not what they should be. They should be way better than what they actually are. We're going to kind of talk about stuff like based off of their like base stats, like if they look cool, or if like they could be a little bit cooler, if their move build could be better, or just stuff like that, like just Pokemon that we think like that the Pokemon company just kind of dropped the ball a little bit, and like you just look at them and go, why? But I will get into that a little bit more with this video. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when we're releasing videos next. And if you haven't seen any of the past videos, we've done Smash Bros videos. We were talking about our favorite Pokemon the other week. We've done battles and stuff like that. So definitely go look into those ones if you enjoy that stuff. And then in the future, we'll probably be doing a little bit more with Pokemon stuff and video games. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so to start off, I'll start because I know I have a much longer list than Mike does. So my number one is Alolan Sandslash. When they released this Pokemon, I loved it. I loved the design. I loved the ice steel typing. I thought it fit really well. And then they released it with like the Alolan Ninetales. I thought they were really cool together. But the problem was it just like they were the same, but Alolan Ninetales was so much better. Like Alolan Ninetales got the ability to create hail, and then it got Aurora Veil, it got Blizzard, and it got like a combo that was just instant, and it was useful, right? But then Alolan Sandslash was like, it's a physical attacker, so Blizzard didn't really do much for it. The ability Slash Rush is good in Hail, but then you'd have to use the move Hail to be in Hail, or combo it with another Pokemon that had the ability to create Hail. So to me, it just made no sense. Also looking at it, just its base stats are 140, and I know regular Sandslash is like that, but I just think that these guys could be so much better, especially with how cool they are and like how like they could be used. Like Sandslash gets Stabby Q, great moveset, but in Alolan Sandslash, like he evolves with an Ice Stone, so he doesn't learn any more moves when it levels up. It learns Icicle Spear when it evolves, but like that's not that great of a move, and his move pool is terrible. So I just think they dropped the ball with it. Cool design, but they just let it fall through the cracks a little bit. I just think it's very hard to use in any way, shape, or form, and it's just a really bad Alolan Ninetales.
Yeah, and especially with that quad fire too.
Yeah.
And like if somebody uses a fire type, which I know a lot of people love fire types, you're pretty much screwed. So especially with that defense too, you're basically done for at that point.
Well, and I know you can give it Earthquake, like it continually carries that over, but he's probably so slow anyway that it's not going to do anything.
Exactly right. All right, so let's transition into my first one, which I'm gonna go after the mascot. I'm going after your mascot, and I'm going with Pikachu to start.
Pikachu.
I hate how hyped Pikachu is. I hate it. I talked about it in my least favorite Pokemon. I talk about it all the time. I hate Pikachu. I will never like Pikachu. Pokemon Yellow, every single time I play that game, I take Pikachu out of my friggin' team. And if I have a Pikachu in any other game, I'm immediately trying to evolve it into a Raichu. I can't stand him. His freaking base attack and base everything is just not good. Like the fact that his base attack is 55 and his defense is 30 just infuriates me, and everybody loves him, but you shouldn't love him because he's not as good as people think he is. And you should immediately try to get to Raichu because Raichu is a beast compared to him.
Oh yeah, especially like Alolan Raichu, greatest decision they've ever made. I'm surprised Pichu exists because I mean it's just another carbon copy of Pikachu, like they do every gen. But I'm surprised how much worse a Pokemon could be than Pikachu, and they give it a pre-evolution. I agree. They tried to give it like surfing and flying moves, and then in Let's Go make it amazing, and then Ash's Pikachu is like the greatest Pikachu in the world, but it's like bullshit. Like you hit that thing once, it's dead. Pikachu is not good. Like every time I fought red in like gold or silver or something, even though Pikachu is his highest level, you just send out a ground type and you just fuck his day up. Like it wasn't even close.
You can be 30 levels lower than that Pikachu, and you are beating it with one Earthquake.
Yeah.
That's how bad he is.
Yeah.
He's awful.
Yeah. And like in the Let's Go, yeah, make it 100%. It's got better stats. It's got a decent
even then, its stats are still not even that good.
Yeah, it's not that good. That's why I have Let's Go Eevee, and its move pool is amazing because it gets all of the types of its evolutions, and it's badass. So
yeah, basically what I'm saying is fuck Pikachu. Again, I'm saying it again.
Tell us how you really feel, Mike.
Oh, I could ramble on for 30 minutes about how much I hate Pikachu.
We won't
do that. We won't do that, though.
Okay, well, my next one's nice, short, and sweet. Flygon. I know everybody feels the exact same way. It's a good Pokemon, 520 base stats. I think Trapinch was a little bit of a stretch of how it evolved, and Vibrava is surprisingly worse than Trapinch. I don't know if many people know that. It's worse.
Yeah, it's
but Flygon is a beast, 520 base stats, which isn't bad. Dragon Ground type is pretty cool. But holy shit, nobody at Pokemon seems to like this thing because it's a fan favorite and they've treated it like shit. Yeah. Every other Pokemon is getting a Mega, this thing's chilling in the background like, what am I supposed to do?
Oh, it needs a Mega desperately.
Yeah, and it missed the perfect opportunity to get a Bug Dragon type. Like, remove the ground typing and give it Bug. Give it like a stab, Bug type attack. I was thinking more like special attacking, like Buzz or something.
Okay, fair.
Like make its wings, like give it an extra set of wings and just have it like going crazy. Like I think that would be amazing. You just give it like a Dragon Pulse, Earth Power, Bug Buzz, and then whatever else you want to put on that thing. But I just think Flygon could be so much better. So much better.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I always talk about Pokemon Coliseum and XD. I will always love that game.
Yeah.
you use them in those games, and then you get tired of them, and you switch over to Salamence because you're tired of it. You're tired of Flygon at that point, or you go to Dragonite.
Well, it just bugs me. It's like it's a Dragon Ground type. It's okay. I relate this to Charizard. Okay, Charizard is literally a dragon, and it's a fire flying. Flygon, it literally has the name Fly in it. And it's a Dragon Ground. Like, okay, first off, if it has Fly in its name, it either needs to be a flying type or a bug type. Simple as that. Like, figure it out. But, and like, you look at Vibrava, it's based off of like vibration, sound-based moves because it's wings, right? Like, if you make that a bug dragon, even if they made, I know they're making Alolan and Galarian forms. If they made a Galarian Flygon, where a Trapinch is a bug type, they make it like a little bug, like even like a pill bug or something, and then Vibrava is a dragon bug, and you make Flygon a dragon bug, I would be okay with that. That looks sick.
Too. That'd be great.
That looks dope. I should work at Pokemon. That's an amazing idea. If anybody from Pokemon's watching this, use that idea. I give you permission.
One more thing about Pikachu before I move on. Stop giving him extra hats in Pokemon Go. We don't care anymore.
At least let me evolve it. God damn it.
Exactly. Like, we don't need all those Pokemon. It's just taking up our Pokemon storage. Stop it.
Yeah. I mean, I saved them, so whatever.
Especially that Riolu one. It made no sense.
Yeah.
All right. Now that I'm done ranting about Pikachu, because I won't talk about him for the rest of the video, I promise. I'm going to move on to my next one, which is ZANGOOSE. Again, I'm going back to Pokemon XD. He was hyped up. He was the main shadow type for the weird buff guy. I don't even remember his name right now. But
yeah, I don't remember.
It was something dumb. But yeah, he was hyped up as like this great Pokemon. You get him, you catch him, and you purify him, and he just isn't as good as you want him to be. Like, sure, his attack is good, and he's a good slasher, but other than that, the rest of his stats are not great. Like, his defense is not good. His special attack's not good. His special defense isn't that good. He's not fast. His HP is trash. Like, he's just not the Pokemon that you thought he would be, considering all the hype that went behind him in that game. And it just, it was annoying.
Yeah, and his move pool is not good.
No, it's not.
The only move I can think of from him that's actually like memorable is Crush Claw.
Yeah, that's about like they even gave him a move. Like that was a move for him, and
Yeah,
they still messed him up.
yeah, because I remember fighting that guy you're talking about, and he
Yeah,
would use a shadow move and mess up my day because it was super effective. Because I remember shadow moves were always super effective, and its attack stat was crazy, and I didn't have anything to beat it. But if you had a fighting type, it was game over. You'd win. Like it was no challenge whatsoever. Like if you had the Hariyama, you won.
yeah. Well, and then it's like now he can learn like X Scissor and like Air Slash. So they've obviously tried to make him a little bit better, but back then he was trash. Now I still would never use him based off of that alone. I just
I'm kind of surprised because the Viper and Zangoose kind of go like it was like the Mongoose and like Viper
yeah.
back and forth battle. I'm surprised they didn't give him a mega. I know everybody's like there's so many megas and everybody's like everything should have a mega now.
Mm-hmm.
They gave Sharpedo and Camerupt, like those were two mascots. They gave the legendaries megas. They gave the starters megas. Like those were two other Pokemon in that gen that deserved love, along with Flygon, and then Salamence and Metagross got them. They didn't even need them. They're pseudo legendaries. They don't need them. Should have given those guys them. Give it a little bit more better base stats and just improve them.
Or give them evolutions. Straight up.
The problem
it's
with
too
that,
late though.
Yeah, but the problem with that though is just like you can't really add an evolution if you're remaking a game.
Yeah,
if they gave them a new evolution, it'd be very hard to see what they would do because they seemed like fully evolved Pokemon.
True.
It'd be like giving Kangaskhan like another evolution. If they give it a pre-evolution, I would agree, but you should have given just a mega.
But yeah, he was just disappointing back then, so I guess that ruined him for me in a way. So I will never use him now. If you like him, then kudos to you, but he's not on my team anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. Okay, my third one. He's actually one of my favorite Pokemon. I always used him when I played Gen 4, and I talked about him in our favorite videos, was Luxray. I always loved Luxray. He was one of like the first electric types I was like consistently using. But he only has a base stats of 523, which isn't terrible. I'll say he's pretty good. But the problem was he was so underutilized. His level up move pool is terrible, right? Like he gets electric moves and then he gets crunch and some normal moves, and then that's kind of it. And then like you can teach him like TMs and stuff, but it's even not that much better. And they missed the ball by not making this an electric dark type. It is like a black Thundercat. You're telling me that learning all these dark type moves like crunch and you're not going to give it the stab, and then on top of that you're not going to give it a mega and make it electric dark type? Like, are you serious? I'm very passionate about this. This pissed me off. Luxray is like the Pokemon that made the most sense to me, at least. Like it's like a Flygon. It needed it. Like it's not many people enjoy it. I loved it, used it all the time, but it just never was quite good enough for me. But they should have added the dark type. I think that's kind of like my main thing. Level up move pool's terrible, and they should have given it a dark type. Oh, excuse me. I got the hiccups.
I just added one right now. I'm gonna go with Licky. I remember Gen 4, I was like, oh, I love Lickitung. Lickitung is actually kind of badass. I always remember thinking he was badass growing up. And first of all, his evolution was like the way you evolve it is dog crap. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head though. Is it love?
I don't remember. No, here, I'll find out. You keep talking.
Yeah, like I was looking on Bulbapedia and it's not here. But yeah, like he was supposed to be a tank, and I thought he was gonna be a tank, and then you evolve it, and his attack and defense, his whole stat line is just kind of meh. And like honestly, Lickitung was, again, like I said, he felt like a badass to me growing up. And then you got to Licky, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a sick Pokemon to use. And I used him for the first time, and I was just disappointed. I thought he would be better. I knew he wasn't gonna be fast. I knew that maybe he wouldn't be the greatest Pokemon on the planet, but I wanted him to be. And His move set is amazing. He can literally learn anything you want, pretty much. And it's just disappointing to see that he wasn't as badass like Lickitung was, in my eyes.
So the way you level it up or evolve it is you level it up with the move Rollout.
Like what?
And it learns Rollout at level 33. So essentially, he evolves at level 34.
So yeah, so like, I personally didn't like the way they did that with Ancient Power and everything like that. It was kind of cool with Mamoswine, but I feel like that should have been a Mamoswine thing only. I feel like
they did it with Togekiss too, I think.
Yeah, they did with Togekiss, Tangrowth, also a disappointing Pokemon, by the way. Licky, Yanamega, who I love. Gliscor was a Claw, so no.
Yeah, Razor Claw.
So yeah, those 4. I didn't like the way they did it personally, but
I mean, I'm happy they didn't do by stone.
True.
And if they did it by level, then it kind of counteracts the old games. I understand why they did it, because it's like the old games didn't have those moves, so by adding them in, it kind of makes sense. I mean, Rollout was in the 3rd gen, so it doesn't really make sense, but it made sense. But I know what you mean. Like, evolving by learning a move only works with certain Pokemon. Like, just meh. And
most of the Pokemon that evolved from that, I mean, Mamoswine's great and Yanamega is great, but half of them aren't that great. Like Tangrowth and Licky should have been better in my eyes, and both of them were just disappointments. They look like tanks, and they're just not tanks.
Yeah, like I think looking at Licky right now, its base defenses are both 95.
Yeah,
like he doesn't. The only stat he has that's over 100 is HP.
Well, you could have did it. You could have did it like Blissey. Like Blissey was a tank, and like
he's got worse total base stats than, like, he's got 515. It's worse than Flygon. It's worse than X-Ray, like I was talking about earlier. Like, for a fully evolved Pokemon from a Lickitung, you'd think it'd be better.
Yeah, because Lickitung was always a great Pokemon to use. I used him multiple times.
It was okay.
It was okay, but it should have been better.
I just remember playing Pokemon Stadium, and he was actually, like, really annoying to deal with.
True.
Because it was like Earthquake, and you're like, what?
It was like Fire Blast, and you're like, why?
Yeah, and then somehow it has Psychic, and you're like, excuse me.
You're
Don't
like,
look at me.
I was like, hold on, I'm using a Machamp right now. I should be killing you, but you have Psychic?
Yeah. I don't know if it's actually true. I think he did.
I'm pretty sure I've had that before.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I haven't played in a while, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next one is actually, again, one of my favorite Pokemon, and I think a lot of these Pokemon on here are my favorites, and it's just they don't get enough love. Galvantula. I love the design. Like, the bug electric typing is sick. I love Joltik. I think he's adorable. The whole concept behind it is sick. But its base stats are only 472, which is kind of disappointing. Like, that's not good. The only stat over 100 is speed, and it's only like 102 or 107 or something like that, which is like, okay, he's fast, and he's got decent special attack. But it's just, for a glass cannon, he doesn't even do that much damage. And just looking at, like, my notes here, like, really cool design, just a shitty Pokemon. Like, it gets Bug Buzz and Discharge, and, like, a okay moveset. Like, it's not anything special. And they give him, like, Electro Web. I think that was, like, his move when they released it or something. But just, he could be so much better. He should be. Like, at least give it 500 base stats, a little bit better special attack. Like, if you're going to make it super fast, at least give it, like, a decent attack as well. Like, if I'm going to one-shot it in one turn, like, at least let it hit me one time, or at least let me hit something one time for a little bit more damage than a quarter. So, yeah, that for me was just really disappointing.
Yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean. It was definitely disappointing for me, too. I used him in Sword and Shield, and I know I still love him, and he was still in my favorites if you watch that video. But, again, like you said, his stats are just not what you want him to be at all. My next one, I'm going to go, again, I just keep finding ones that I just figure out right now. I'm going to go DELPHOX. I think they had so much potential with him. I think the Fire Psychic was creative. They could have gone so many different directions with him, and I just think it was disappointing. Like, he looks disappointing. He has awful, like, his stats aren't awful. Like, his base stats are 534, which isn't bad, but his
It's a
move,
starter.
yeah, that's the starter for you. He's one of the more disappointing starters in my eyes. His move set is okay, but it's not great. Like, it's definitely
I think
not.
it gets better. Like for a special attacker, like a psychic fire type, I think it has a decent
Yeah.
spread, but it could definitely be better.
Oh yeah. Like, I can find a move set here, but like, it's still disappointing to me. And I just going into it, because I usually pick either the fire starter or the grass or the water starter, and I just think that this gen kind of dropped the ball with the starters, honestly. And I don't know. I felt I used it once and I couldn't do it. I was so disappointed with it, and I it just pisses me off to even think about it, because Fire Psychic was so exciting to me.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite. I'm really happy with what they did. Because for the longest time, I was like, they should do starters with psychic, dark, and fighting, because that's
Mhm.
essentially the same thing as fire, water, and grass. They all counteract each other. So when they did it, I thought it was awesome. I'm really glad that it's not firefighting like the 3 gens previous to that. But I think what they did with it was perfect, because like the grass fighting chestnut, he's also one of my favorites. I didn't include him in any of my lists in previous videos, but I really like chestnut. Greninja's obviously the fan favorite for everybody. Like, it's Greninja, right? Um, but yeah, DELPHOX just, I felt like very similar to you. Like, he just didn't stay up to the same level as the other two. Like, even Chestnut, it's not as good as like as high or hype as Greninja,
Mhm.
obviously. But I would use Chestnut over the other two, and I know most people would probably use Greninja over the other two. But DELPHOX was just kind of like meh. Like, I think Fennekin was more hype than the other guys. And I know with like Pokemon cards for a little bit there, they were like mixing, they were doing like tag teams with like the Kanto starters and then like other ones. So like Venusaur was a Snivy, uh, Blastoise was with Piplup, and then they put Charizard with Braixen or something, the like second evolution, which to
Mhm.
me was just like, why? Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you make it Fennekin? Like, the other ones are all first stage, right? Like, it just looked really dumb. Like, that evolution line was like meh. But
Yeah,
I totally agree with you.
it was so much potential. It just completely messed it up.
Mhm. Cool concept, like a wizard kind of thing.
Yeah.
Fire psychic, really cool. But they could have done better.
It just doesn't
Um,
look it didn't look intimidating at all.
no, I agree. So my next one is Golurk. Again, one of my favorite Pokemon. The reason why I put him on this list was because a ghost ground type, really cool typing. And again, like I've said in previous videos, the ground type is one of my favorites. Um, really cool design. I love the big behemoth looking thing. I like Golett. He's like the like the first stage. I think he's really cool, really cute. But the problem I have with Golurk are two things. First, its space stats are only 483, and I think attack is his only good stat over 100. Everything else is kind of meh. So like, considering he's like a big Pokemon, you'd think he'd be a little bulky, but he's not. But just not good stats. He's got an okay move pool. Like, he kind of gets access to like Hammer Arm, Heavy Slam. He can learn Fly, which is just weird. And I remember watching a Pokemon movie, and he was like a rocket ship flying around, which was really weird. But I think the main glaring thing that I find with this, the only good ghost physical attack moves are Shadow Claw and Phantom Force, and I don't think Golurk can learn Shadow Claw. He only learns Phantom Force by level up, and it's terrible.
Mhm.
Like, it's like Fly. It's like a 2-turn thing, and people just can use Protect. Like, it's not good. And I think that also goes hand in hand with Dragapult, because I remember using Dragapult in my Sword and Shield run. It was the same thing. Like, I'd have Dragon Dance with I'd use the Dragon Dart move, and then I had Phantom Force, and then I'm like, because he can't learn another good Ghost physical move, and I think that's why so many people use Dragapult as a special attacker, because he does not get a good Ghost physical attack, and it's really frustrating. So that just, for me, I think they need to make a good physical Ghost move attack. And Shadow Punch is like, it's not great, right? I think it's only a 60 power, but they need to do better with the Ghost typings. Like, they've made some really cool designs, really cool Pokemon. Ghost typing is really cool. They need to show some love to the physical Ghost type attackers, I think.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you for sure on that. Which one do I want to go with first? My next one, I'm gonna go with SILVALLY. Pretty much a carbon copy of Arceus, but not as cool. Still hyped up a lot. All of his stats basically are worse than Arceus, so it's basically just a B-Tech version of him. It's cool that he can be other types and stuff like that. I thought that was obviously cool that they tried to do it again, but I don't know why they would just try to do the same thing again. Its move set, obviously, since they are trying to make it like Arceus, is very good. It can learn a lot of different moves, obviously, because it can be these different types. But I don't know. I felt like they could have done so much more with it if they wanted to. And honestly, they should have tried something different with it, in my opinion. Just don't make it like, if they say it's a legendary, but it's basically not with the way that it looks stats wise. And I just think they could have done so much more with it. And its stats are all the same. Change it up.
Yeah, it's like another Mew or Arceus, like you were saying. I just remember Type Null was like the big Pokemon of Sun Moon, and that was like Gladion's Pokemon. It was supposed to be like the Ultra Beast killer, and it evolves into Silvally, and you're like, oh my god, it's a baby Arceus. Like, what? Made no sense.
Yeah, and you got there, and you're like, oh well, I'm not using this.
And like, you know what? With having the same base stats all across, that's not bad necessarily. It's just, again, not super good. I don't know. I didn't mind them. I didn't think it was a terrible Pokemon, but that's what you think. So cool. My next one is Dubwool from Sword and Shield. Yeah. Wooloo, so much hype. Cutest fucking Pokemon ever. Super cool. And Dubwool looks really cool. But my problem with it, Hop being your rival, he was too easy. I thought he was
seriously
terrible.
He's like, not good.
He was not good. And it was, like, I like the idea how it kept changing, but it's funny because he would get good Pokemon and then he'd go back to the shitty ones.
Yeah, he changed back.
Yeah, but his team was never good until he got Zacian or Zamazenta or whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing with Dubwool that bugged me, the base stats are 490, so it's not whatever. Like, it's a typical like Pokemon you get at the beginning of the game, the normal type Pokemon, right? But the problem is it has a terrible moveset.
Mm-hmm.
I remember facing him in the final battle, and I'd use Dragapult, and I could set up 6 Dragon Dances in a row because the only moves it had were Fighting type, Normal type, and then Cotton Guard. He couldn't touch me, and he was not smart enough to change his Pokemon. And I just set up and then one-shot every single Pokemon he had because I outsped everything, and then I had max stats with attack. So it got really, really boring. Because I think he gets Wild Charge as an electric move.
Yeah.
He gets all the normal moves like Double Edge and stuff. He gets fighting moves like Double Kick, Reversal, stuff like that. And then I think like through TMs, he can learn Zen Headbutt. He can learn like Payback and then like a Steel type move. And then that's it. Like everything else is just generic. And it makes no sense. Like you could have done so much better with this thing. Like you could have given it like, I don't know if it has access to Earthquake actually. I didn't really check for that. But I don't remember seeing it. But it's not a good Pokemon, I think. Like it's just terrible. Not good.
Yeah, I remember I've had friends who were like, "Oh, I'm gonna use them," and I was like, "Just don't, just don't do it."
Like the shiny Wooloo.
Yeah.
Wooloo's great. I love Wooloo. Super cute, great Pokemon. Makes sense, but Dubwool was just a disappointment. Same
All
with
right.
like Yamper
Yeah.
and Bolton. Bolton's kind of cool, but it's just like Bolt from the TV or like that movie.
And yeah.
It's just not good either. Like Yamper was cute, it was a little corgi, and then it evolves, and you're like, oh, okay.
All right. Let's go into my last one, which is Zoroark. When he first came in, he was the next huge Pokemon. He was the guy. He could transform into anything. He could do whatever he wanted, and he was this legendary that everybody wanted to see and do and use.
He's
And
not a legendary.
yeah, true. They hyped him up as one though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, he was like the new Lucario.
Yeah, like he was the next big thing to use. And I remember using him one time and he was disappointing because sure he's got the attack, but his defense is so bad to the point where he's almost unusable. Like if you run into his anything that he's weak to, you're screwed. He's doesn't have that many things he's resistant to. He doesn't have that many things he's immune to. So pretty much if you don't have the perfect move set, which he doesn't even have a very good move set either, he's gonna die probably because he's got 3 different weaknesses and everything else can hit him, and his defense is bad to the point where you're not gonna do a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna lose. And just the way that he was hyped up before that, and he could have been so much cooler in my opinion, but
Yeah.
they messed up his move set, and his defense is just so bad that it's a liability.
Like to me, and I know like why he got so much hype. Great concept. It was so cool. Like to have Illusionist, you send him out. He's like the Pokemon that's your last thing, but and if you did it right, you could do it in a way where it's like, okay, if you have to use a fighting or a bug type move, you could send something out that's like, if somebody uses that move, it's not very effective. So it like eliminates the ability of getting hit by a super effective attack. But the problem was like with so bad defense, if you get hit by something, you're not going to last very long. Like
No.
I think if they were going to do that, they should have made them more bulky and like the ability to like do more damage is great, and I think that just makes sense. But they should have done it a little bit more tanky, like defensively, so you can take take that hit to play that little like illusion kind of thing, and then keep going kind of thing. Or they should have done it where it's like while he's in his like illusion form, his defenses are better, and then as soon as he changes into Zoroark, he like switches, kind of like an Aegis Slash. His stance change, like where his like stats like switch. I don't know, something like that would have been cool.
There was a lot of potential there, and they kind of dropped the ball.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, cool Pokemon. Still like decent moveset. I wouldn't say it's terrible, but they just could have been a little better, considering how cool it was. Supposed to be, at least. Now my last one, and then we're going to get into something else that I'm very passionate about, but the last one that we're going to talk about for me was Phalanx from the 8th gen. It's like the little guy, like a picture will be shown here, but it's like the little guy where it's like there's 5 little like men marching around. I think it was super cool. I didn't know anything about this when I first saw it, so I thought it was dumb, I thought it was dumb. But when I first saw it in game and how they're like little dudes with like eyes and they're like the shield, I thought it was super cool. I think the move No Retreat, I think that's a really cool concept where it's like all your stats raised, but you can't run away and your opponent can't run away. The problem I have, like he has a decent move pool, right? It's a fighting type. The thing I have an issue with is that it just seems like a cool concept that was wasted. I think they could have given it an evolution line, like a baby form where it's just one of them, and named it like I know it's Phalanx, so it's like kind of plural, but you could have done it where it's like one, so it's like Link, or like they wouldn't call it Link, obviously, but you could just do Phalanx or something like that, right? Like just make it one, and then they link up to make many of them. And then if you wanted to give it a second evolution, they could just do like a form, right, where they turn into something and it's a bunch of them, or do it in a way where it's like just make it a little bit better, you know? Like I thought it was a really cool Pokemon. I thought it has a cool concept. I just think they could have done a little bit more with it. made it a little bit better, and its base stats are only 470.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's worse than Galvantula. You know, like, it just didn't seem like, it just kind of seemed like one of those Pokemon where they just threw it in, kind of a cool concept, but nobody cares because he's not good.
Well, for me, what I would have done was the first evolution and then given it a third and then made it a bug fighting.
Like another Heracross or something. That would have been cool.
That's what I would have done with it personally. I just think I think we've said multiple times that we hate monotypes, so that's kind of how we feel about it.
Don't get me wrong. I don't hate monotypes. It's so much cooler when you have a dual type.
Yeah.
So many more options with it.
So many combinations, yeah.
Yeah, like monotypes have their place, don't get me wrong. Like some of the best Pokemon are monotyped. But I'm a sucker for a Pokemon that has two types as a combo that just is like unique, right? Like Toxtricity. It's the only poison electric type, one of my favorite Pokemon. Michael, are you tired? Stop yawning.
I yawned once, we're fine.
But just, yeah, they could have done more with Phalanx. It's just kind of a letdown for me.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I remember I was tempted to use them when I first got the game because I thought, oh, it's cool. Like, I might as well try it. But then I saw its stats and I saw its typing and everything like that. And I was kind of like, okay, maybe not.
So now we're going to move into something else. And it's the same idea. They deserve more love and they should be better. But the first one we'll talk about is the Gen 8 starters. And holy shit, what the fuck did they do with this? They fucked up. I'm telling you right now, this was the worst thing they could have done. Gen 2, it kind of worked. Meganium's a joke, but if they give them Megas, they can fix it, right? Typhlosion, like a Fire Rock, Fire Dark, Feraligatr, Water Dark, Water Steel, and then Meganium like a Grass Fairy. It would have worked. Or a Grass Psychic. It would have worked. They could have made it work. But they fucked up. Like we talked about this monotyping thing. What were they thinking? Sobble's line is terrible. Sobble was like the front runner for coolest, and then it just terrible. Inteleon is not good. It is not a good design. It's kind of cool, I guess. But I remember people were like hyping up the idea of like a water dragon. Like it's based in Scotland, right?
Yeah.
Wherever Sword and Shield's based off of. But like, how cool would that have been? A water dragon starter? That would have been hype. Right? Like a lizard water thing that could camouflage and stuff. Like it's still the same idea as Inteleon. And then Rillaboom's, it's okay. I enjoy Rillaboom. I don't think he's bad. But I think a Grass Fairy would have been cool, right? Like a musical Grass Fairy type. Even a normal type wouldn't have been bad because then it gets stabbed like Hyper Voice or Boom Burst, right? Like it learns that move anyway, but that would have been cool. Right, and then Cinderace was the perfect opportunity for a Fire Electric. I know it would have been like if they put Dragon and Electric on a starter type, it becomes like a little excessive because it becomes overpowered, I think. But
you got to take risks, though. That's the thing. You got to do it.
Yeah.
You've done so many different things to this point. You got to do something that's different, and they
like,
didn't.
Gen 4.
Yeah,
perfect. They did like except maybe like the firefighting type in Infernape, but that typing thing that they did with those three was perfect. Same with like I know you weren't a fan of DELPHOX, but like the DELPHOX, Greninja, and Chestnut, I thought the secondary typings worked because they counteracted each other, right? Like even though DELPHOX was Fire Psychic, he would destroy Chestnut because it was weak to both of those. Like it just worked, right?
Oh.
Like I don't know, they could have done better.
They could have done so much. Like the hype that I remember me and you having when they first came out with the starters and the potential that was there, and we had the whole conversation about what the typings were going to be. We had like a 2-hour conversation about the different typing they could do, and there was so much potential there, and they didn't do it, and they ruined it, in my opinion. And
like I said, don't get me wrong, the monotype starters isn't terrible.
It's not terrible.
But the excitement as a kid to evolve a Charmander into a Charizard and becomes flying type, or to turn like Blaziken and Swampert into like their secondary types, like just to get that ability was so cool, right? It just becomes different. but like, they just Cinderace and Score Bunny could have been so much cooler.
Could have been.
Like obviously, if they made it a fighting type, I would have been even more upset. But like, it's a fire bunny, and you're telling me you couldn't add a type to that? Or like a water lizard, you're telling me you can't add a type to that? Like, that's just like
even if they made the water poison type and just pulled the trigger.
Yeah, something.
Well, because like you could have easily done with Cinderace, you could have made it so easy that he runs so fast that he conducts electricity. So easily could have done that.
Yep. I know they were trying to do like a soccer player kind of thing.
Even
like,
then, you could have made it the soccer ball was electric. Like,
yeah, like an electric fireball or something. And teach it like electro ball.
Like, also, I just want to say one of the reasons why Sword and Shield are so easy is because those extra moves they gave them. The super kick thing. I don't remember what it's called. Where you
mean like their specific like snipe shot?
Yes.
And, like, pyro kick or whatever. Yeah.
Yes, because you had 5 of them. You could blow through their whole entire team in one go.
Yeah, Cinderace's move was pretty good. Like I think Rillaboom's, I can't remember what it was called. It was like drum beating or something. It was decent. Like, it was okay. Snipe shot's pretty cool though. Like, what is it? It's like not affected by stats or something. I can't remember. It's like, I'm happy that they gave that to them. Like, I think that's definitely a feature that should be used in the future. But the thing is like, give it a secondary typing, please. Like, why? It worked with Gen 2, but doesn't work now. And even Gen 2, like, how many people say Gen 2 is like their favorite? Like, maybe for Alligator and Typhlosion, but even then, it's like people prefer the other ones like Blaziken and Charizard, or Blastoise and Empoleon and Swampert, like, because they're memorable and the second typing helped.
And that's why Gen 2 doesn't get love. And like that's why monos should not be a thing anymore. 6 gens ago, it was a thing. And it worked 6 gens ago. But it doesn't work in Gen 8. It won't work in Gen 9. Don't do it again. It only worked once. And now you have to continue to get better.
For starters, regular Pokemon, whatever. But the thing is, the world, like, if you look up online, some of the biggest things people talk about in Pokemon is what's going to be used as a combo for typings, because there's so many that haven't been used yet. Mm-hmm. Like Flapple being a grass dragon was huge. Toxtricity being a poison electric, huge. Like, those were like hype, right? And even like Obstagoon, super hype. Like, those Pokemon are big deals because people wanted those, and that's what we got. And people love them. I do. I love those Pokemon. But I just think they messed that up. Okay, moving on. Sticking with Gen 8, we're going with the fossils. I think very similar to how the starters, what we're talking about, I think they kind of dropped the ball. I think it was a cool concept. Like, you got 4 fossils and you're like merging them into like whatever type combo you want. But I'm really disappointed because they had rock types before, and like all of them were rock types, and now they're not. Like, what was that about? Like, that was so frustrating. And it's like, it's a cool concept. I thought the designs were terrible. Like, I think the Arctofish looks terrible. Like, it's just terrible design. Like, some of them just look so bad.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the idea where it's like there's an electric ice, an electric dragon, and stuff like that. Like, I think, like, I used those ones because I thought they were like kind of cool typings, but that was all. I didn't care for the design. I thought they were kind of dumb. And if you think about, like, if you were to take like how they were split, if you were to take like the electric type and give it like the second half, which would be the rock type that they're missing, imagine the type combinations: electric rock, dragon rock, water rock we already had, and then ice rock, right? If you just, like in other gens where they had 2, if you just did electric rock and dragon rock, that's dope. And if you think it like with the new Reggies right now, that's what they did: electric and dragon. Those would have been sick as fossils. You know?
I have the hiccup. Sorry.
That's okay.
I agree. The typing for rock. Fuck, what did you say? Rock, electric with the ground type might have been an issue, but other than that, I do agree with you on that for sure. I think that this new game they could have done a whole lot more creatively, but I feel like they just wanted to get the game out faster, so they kind of went with what was
Yeah,
easy
I think they focused a
on
lot of
the
their
game.
energy on the gameplay. It was the first
Yeah,
console Pokemon besides Let's Go, but that's a remake.
remake. Yeah,
But the open world wild area, I think that was like they focused all their attention to that. They
and the
focused their
story,
attention. Yeah, the story was huge. I'm glad that they did
Gigamax.
that. Yeah, Gigantamax, like it was kind of touched on a little bit, like it was used. Like every gym battle, I guess, so it was pretty big. But I think the gym battles were unreal.
Mhm.
I think it was like fitting, and it's exactly what I've always wanted. It's like Pokemon Stadium kind of thing.
Yeah,
The storyline was good. The champion, like Leon, so good.
so good. Yeah,
I'm Charizard's
the
my favorite Pokemon, and I'm upset that they overused him again. But still, great team. I'm not going to bash it. He had a really good team and made it fun and challenging, so I'll accept that.
the evil mayor was a good touch too, or the evil.
Like company CEO, I
Yeah,
didn't see that coming. I knew the girl was kind of weird,
yeah.
um, but the thing for me was like they put way too much time and effort into everything else. I'm glad they did the Galarian forms. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them are like okay, but most of the game they focused on everything else, and just I feel like the rest of the Pokemon, a lot of them are really good. A lot of them suffered, and I think
Well,
the fossils is one of those things.
I think they focus. I think they're focusing so much on including past things now that it's hurting their future. Like at this
Mhm.
point, you're trying so hard to make like these new forms for the old Pokemon, and you're trying to like bring in Charizard so big again. Like that was your chance to make one of the starters from your gen right now feel more special. That Leon had him, and
Mhm.
you had the chance to make everything else feel so special, but you're clinging to the past in a way that you're trying to get your old audience to come back. And I
Yeah,
don't think,
yeah. Sorry, they're just milking it.
yeah.
Like they know it's big, so they're just gonna keep using it.
And
Create
like,
something that new people are gonna enjoy.
yeah, like make something that will entice your old audience. Make like new typings, make new things that will make us
Mhm.
want to play. Like, I almost didn't buy Sword and Shield because honestly, like the typings disappointed me. Like I was disappointed with a lot of things. I almost didn't finish the game after I bought it because I was disappointed with what was going on. The story was fantastic. The gameplay was fantastic. But I'm not playing but I am playing Pokemon for that, but that's not the main reason. I want to catch new and cool things that I will never use and could potentially go in my top 6. And that's why my top 6 is Gen 1 to Gen 4 because that's their creative top in my opinion.
Yeah, and for me, I think I'm on the same page. Like using Pokemon that are new that I think are cool. So like I've mentioned many times, I've used like my first team was Rillaboom, Toxtricity, Colossal,
Yeah.
and then I'm like Grimmsnarl. Like I used Pokemon that were new that I just wanted to try. And that's the thing. I don't like using old Pokemon. Like if I'm
Mhm.
playing an old game and that's their game, I'll use those Pokemon. But I'm not going to use Charizard in the new game. Like you just, if I want to use Charizard, I'll go to the old games because that's when he was cool, right? But like, I'll use the Galarian forms or the Alolan forms, whatever, and I'll use the new Pokemon. But yeah, that's what I'm playing for. I don't care
Mhm.
about the old stuff, getting new things. Well, sometimes I do, but I'm more focused on like the new stuff they come up with. I think the new stuff that they're coming out with, like the Galarian forms with the new DLCs, like the legendary birds, I think it's a cool idea. I'm a little disappointed that this is the path that they went with, but I think they're really cool so far. Galarian Slowbro is kind of a cool concept, and I think they're adding some good Gigantamax. Like I think them finally adding Venusaur and Blastoise to it and giving them Gigantamax was needed. I think it's a little they kind of I thought they would have learned by like when they gave Blaziken a Mega.
Yeah.
And then didn't give the other 2 Megas. I thought they would learn by now, but they didn't. But anyway, back to the whole reason we were talking about this. The fossils were disappointing. Should have been better. I missed the fact that they aren't rock type. They could have kept that, but they didn't. So yeah.
I don't know. They need to give me reasons to use new Pokemon, I guess. Like, if you're not giving me cool things that I want to use, I'm just gonna go right back to what I know.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing. They're trying to attract the old audience again by using the old Pokemon that are the favorites. But it's like we've been saying so many things where it's like we want a remake of the 4th gen. They've done remakes of the first 3 gens, which were all amazing to me.
Oh yeah,
and everybody agrees. Make a remake of the 4th gen. You have to, because that's what people want. But the thing is by dragging out the old stuff, you're just making the older generation, like us, that started with it, angry, because you're taking what we loved and trying to use it and make the new generation fall in love with it as well. But it's like, give them something else to fall in love with, and then it gives us a reason to play.
Well, that's one of the things too. It's like Pokemon Platinum had one of the most unique stories that Pokemon had. Like, going into the Shadow World was super cool, and doing that in 3D on your Switch or the future console would be badass. It would be great. And I think Gen 4 is up there as one of the better gens. We'll talk about that some other time. But like, that was kind of a part of their peak, and I think they have to remake it. If they want to go back to their older audience, they have to remake that game.
Agreed. I 100% agree. And like, I remember playing Diamond. Dialga was one of my favorites. You always pick Palkia. Like, that battle of constant, like us. I always remember like fighting with those 2. You'd use Spatial Random because I was neutral. I'd eat it, and then I'd use Roar of Time and one-shot you because it was like OP as shit and it was super effective. And like, but like, I love those games. I've actually been wanting to replay those, and I think Brody had an extra version that I'm just gonna see if it was mine or whatnot. But
I think I have a version actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I really want to find it, and I really want to play it because I missed that game, and I really want to play it.
Yeah, I think I have Diamond. So if you want to steal that from me, feel free. Or if you just get a ROM and play it for everybody. Let us know if you want us to play Diamond and Pearl. We'll play together. Play Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah. And we'll I'm sure we'll play all the games. I'm sure we'll.
Oh yeah.
I kind of want to do like all of them.
In order, yeah, I'd be okay with that.
But we'll get to that later. So, but yeah, so that's kind of been our video about Pokemon that have disappointed us, and then just I think Gen 8 was disappointing in general, as we just ranted about it, as you can tell. But yeah, that's where we're at with that, and they dropped the ball a few times.
They really did, yeah.
They've done some amazing things. They've done some great things. They've done some okay things, but they've done some really bad things as well. Like, they could have done so much better. And I understand you can't have every single Pokemon be amazing or like pseudo legendaries. Like, there's a reason they do that. You need bad Pokemon and you need good Pokemon. I totally get it. But the fact is you're taking really cool looking Pokemon designs, really good Pokemon, or like just really like potentially really good Pokemon, and you're just not giving them what they need to succeed. It's really frustrating because all the Pokemon I mentioned, except maybe like Dubwool, I like the designs. I would use them if they were better. And like I said, like Flygon and Luxray and Galvantula are the only ones that I look at and go, I'm going to use those. But the thing is, they need to be better. So,
I think they need to stop buffing the Pokemon that are already buff.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I agree.
Stop hyping up Charizard so much. I mean, we love Gen 1. Don't get us wrong, but stop hyping up Gen 1 so much. I know it's your glory days. We know it is, but you can't keep buffing those Pokemon. You need to buff Gen 4. You need to buff Gen 6 because honestly, I can't think of more than 10 Gen 6 Pokemon right now. That's how irrelevant that Gen is to me right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're just
I agree.
you're hyping up Gen 1 to 4, and you're not letting us appreciate the rest of the generations.
Yeah. Like the thing is like I remember the X and Y was like the mega generation, which was amazing.
Then
And
they
I
just
think
ditched it.
I think they saved it and then they got rid of it. And then they were like Z moves. And then all of a sudden it's like one gen of that. And then they're like Dynamax. So I don't know. If they remake Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, they need to bring back Megas, show some love. Because fourth gen was revolutionary in the fact that it's like so many evolutions from previous gens and like they gave buffs to so many good Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right? Like Rhydon, Magmar, Electabuzz, Togetic,
Gligar,
Gligar,
Tangela,
like
Lickitung.
they made terrible Pokemon better.
Yeah.
Right? And we talked about this previously, but like do that again. Make it a console remake on the Switch and give Pokemon Megas. Make like the fourth gens, give them Megas. Give the second gen Megas if you want. Like I don't care. Like if you give all the starters Megas, then you got to give them all starters or all starters Megas. But the thing is, you give it to 1 and 3. Like what about 2? If you're going to remake 4, then you got to give it to 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I feel like they remade Gen 2 at a bad time where they couldn't.
I don't know. I thought they made it perfectly. I thought they did it fine.
I guess that was kind of the first game they remade. So
I was okay with them remaking it at that time because it was kind of like at the fourth gen era when everything kind of got like that. Like anything that needed a buff got it.
Mm-hmm.
So like Gliscor got a buff, Togetic got a buff. I'm trying to think of other second gens. Oh, Murkrow into Honchkrow.
Weevil.
Like those Pokemon that were cool in that gen got better. And I think it worked. So now what they got to do is they've done 2 generations of mediocre. Like Sun and Moon was okay. I didn't love it. There's lots of Pokemon in that gen that were like good, but Ultra Beasts were stupid.
True.
A lot of the Pokemon were not good or well designed, and the story was okay. I'll admit it was decent, but like the Z moves were just kind of like whatever. Dynamax is a little bit better. I think the story and gameplay is amazing. I'll say
that comes with new consoles.
Yeah, I think it's because it is on the console, but I think they gotta because every time they've done a remake, it's done so well. Leaf Green and Fire Red were amazing. Let's Go was like it was good. Like
Heart Gold and Soul Silver was hell successful.
Yeah. Omega Ruby.
Alpha Sapphire was great.
So good because all Omega stuff was still there. So if they do a remake of Gen 4, they might be still there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it was just frozen. Sorry. They have to make a remake of Gen 4 where they give Megas, or they give the story remake and they got to change it somehow. Like, and I think it'd be so cool. Imagine being on the console and like you were saying, being in the Shadow Realm or whatever it's called. It's like the Phantom Zone or something. No, it's something not that. Something like that. It's got a name. I just think that would be cool. Like, you don't need to give like the Legendaries Megas like you did in the 3rd gen remake. But like, look at the 4th gen. Look at some of those Pokemon. Give some things some Megas. Kind of review some things. And if you don't do Megas, do the Galarian and Alolan forms. Those worked. I think they were sick. I loved them. But the thing is, you can't do that with a remake, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they got to do something. If they do the remake and they do it on console, it's got to be big.
And I think they can do it. That's the type of generation where you can do it big. Like if you can't remake Gen 2 and make it as big as you remake Gen 4.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do it with Black and White. You made a sequel for Black and White, so there's no point of doing that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Same with Sun and Moon. They did a remake. I'm
Like-
surprised they didn't, or not a remake. Sorry, the sequel.
Mhm.
I'm surprised they didn't make a Z.
I'm surprised too, honestly.
They made an X and a Y.
They had the legendary ready to go. They had Zygarde ready.
Zygarde. And then I remember in Sun and Moon, it was just like you got like the cube and you absorbed the cells, and that was kind of it. Like that's.
And I
Zygarde
thought that was
died.
them
I was
hinting
like,
at it. I thought that
Yeah.
was them hinting at it the whole time.
I thought they were gonna do it. Like if that was the new game they did and they made a console and that was like the big game, I'd be like, all right, dope. And then they do all the megas, that would be hype. But I feel like we're getting a little off track, and this is definitely a different video to talk about. We can talk about when we do our Gen stuff.
Yeah.
And I know there's definitely a topic of a video that I would like to discuss because me and Ryan have definitely discussed like if we were in charge of making a game, and I know you've been a part of this, where it's like what we would want the game to look like and how we'd combine all of the games kind of into one. But yeah, that's another video. That's something we can discuss a different time with other people, and I think that'd be like a good little video we can make. But yeah, so I think that's it for this video. So frustrating, but we kind of already went through that, and I'm sure there's lots more. So for anybody who's watching, definitely share any Pokemon that disappoint you, or if you agree or disagree with anything we've said, mention it down below.
Heck, if you like Gen 8, you could tell us that.
You know what? I like Gen 8. I'm not afraid to say it. I like Gen 8. They just, like I said earlier,
They made a lot of
let them
mistakes.
go with it. Yeah. But comment down below if you agree, disagree, anything. Like if there's a Pokemon you think of that just disappointed the hell out of you, mention it down below. Also, if there's any ideas that you want us to talk about, like any ideas that you would like to see, or a concept for a game, or like just anything like that, let us know. And just remember, I know I said at the beginning of the video, make sure you like and subscribe and you ring the bell notification, just so you know when our next video is coming out. I think our next one after this one, we'll let you know. If you follow us on social media so you know which ones we're going to be coming out with next. But yeah, just make sure you stay tuned, and I hope you like what you're seeing so far. And we're definitely going to get a little bit more game stuff in the next month or so. But yeah, anything to finish off, Mike?
Just make sure to if you're gonna put your stuff in the comments section, like be constructive. Like if you're gonna be pissy with us and you're gonna be dicks to us, we're not gonna respond to you. We're not gonna have a conversation with you. So if you want to be civil with us and have a normal conversation with us about Pokemon or any game we play, be civil. Don't be stupid.
Don't be rude. We want to talk about something we love, and we hope that you guys can share that interest. If you disagree, fine. You can tell us that you disagree, but just be constructive, like Mike said about it, and share your thoughts. We'd love to hear them, and it's always interesting. Like whenever I have conversations with Mike or with friends, I think it's mind-blowing that people have different opinions, and I think about it and go, wow, that's really cool to think about. I didn't even think about that. So yeah, sorry, Mike, continue.
Yeah, so yeah, just follow us. We're gonna come out with some more gaming videos soon. We have a Smash Bros video you can watch. And a couple days ago,
other Pokemon stuff.
Yeah, we've been grinding it out. So yeah, stay tuned. We're gonna continue with it. I know next exactly.
But we'll see you guys later, and peace. See you later.
See y'all later.